Okay, hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Also too, if you guys want to follow my social media, I'm gonna leave it in the bio down below. So for today's video, I ran a poll on Twitter to see how you guys were feeling and if you had any suggestions, what you wanted to see more of, etc. And I got no feedback. I literally got one comment from a friend who said he wanted to see a video on wellness and a video on wellness that encouraged others to stay emotionally or physically healthy. So for today's video, I thought it'd be a good idea to get into how I keep myself healthy on a day-to-day basis and just ways that I incorporate certain things to keep my priorities in check. So the three main things that I always prioritize, of course, is going to be my mental health, my spiritual health, and my physical health. And like I said, I try to incorporate ways to keep those things in check on a day-to-day, but of course life happens and I can't always do it. But yeah, so first things first, I'm going to get into the mental health aspect. So what I like to do, and I usually do it in the mornings. What I usually like to do is use the app called Headspace, and it's a meditation app, and they have a nice little routine already set up for you, and it's pretty new. They recently just set up this routine, and so it's like a set routine. There's like 4 or 5 different parts, and the first part of it is just a breathing exercise, and then they get into a segment called the wake up, where it takes you into like each day it's a different animal, but it takes you through this animal's day, like their habitat and yeah, etc. So it takes you through these animals' day, and I think that's just a very like calming, peaceful little short clip that kind of is it's very calming and reassuring to wake up to. So, and that's the second part. And then it takes you into the daily meditation. And that segment is as long as you want it to be. It can run anywhere from 3 to 20 minutes depending on how much time you have. So you kind of pick how long you'd like your meditation for. And then it'll take you to the final part of it, which is like a meditation that's really centered on one specific, I guess, lesson. I would say. So yeah, so that's kind of what I do as a morning routine. And that's the app that I use for meditating. Also, too, another way that I try to keep my mental health in check. Well, actually, no, that's more of a physical health. What other way do I keep my mental health in check? Also, too, I think that journaling has helped me a lot. So, aside from meditation, meditation really helps keep me grounded. It helps keep me more aware of my thoughts and my emotions. But also, too, journaling helped me a lot growing up, because I did struggle a lot with a lot of things. So I kind of had journals for everything. Like, I had dream journals, I had thought journals, I had journals for my feelings. Like, anything that I was struggling in, I had a journal for, or anything that I just felt like I wanted to talk about. And I think it's a really good exercise or activity, I should say, to have in throughout your week, in case you're not the type to if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to people, or you don't have any people you feel like you can talk to. Yeah, I think journaling is a real good way to relieve all of those pent up emotions and even thoughts that you might be struggling with. You just write them all down, and it doesn't have to make sense. Sometimes your emotions, your thoughts don't make sense, and that's okay, you know. Um, and yeah, so journaling definitely helped me. It's something that I stopped doing, and honestly I don't do it anymore, but it helped me a lot, and I really have been meaning to get back into it. So yeah, I think journaling would help a lot. Um, what other thing? Oh, also, on all of my social media, by all I mean like just my Instagram and my Twitter, just because I don't really like going on social media much. Um, I honestly, if I could stay off of it completely, I would. But I kind of keep Twitter more than anything, just to keep you guys updated and share with you guys any uploads and stuff like that. Um, but aside from that, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't really enjoy it, and I try to follow pages that are um about mental awareness, or about just your health in general. For example, like on Twitter, I follow this page called I Am Mantra, and I have their notifications on, and so each day they have a little what was today's? They have each day they have a little quote, and it's for today's mantra. It was, love is awakening within me and flowing from me into the world. I am love. So it's just, how should I say this? Aspirations? Is that what it's called? I don't know. So it's daily, like, inspirational quotes, or like anything to keep my timeline positive and loving, and yeah, all of that. So on all my social media, even on Instagram, I follow pages like that are more like spiritual quotes or positive quotes, and you could find a bunch of pages like that, honestly. I think on any social media. So I just try and keep my social media mainly with with things like that keep me aware of um my attitude, my and just promote positivity and just a loving energy, I should say. I'm very aware of like what types of, I guess, what type of energy and what type of intentions people have on social media. So I try and keep it, how should I say this, aligned with who I would want to be and what I want to promote. Like, I want to be more loving, I want to be more positive, I want to be kind. So I try and surround myself with those things, even on my social media. So, yeah, so I follow pages that are very inspiring, very uplifting, and yeah. So I'm not rambling about this. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. So, I think that might be it for my mental health. I also had, well, before we move on, I also had gone to therapy for a while. I think I was going to therapy for about maybe almost a year, and I was kind of reluctant on going to therapy growing up, and I really didn't, just never wanted to go to therapy, just because I felt like I wanted to learn how to get over some things myself, because I just wanted to know how to get, how to, how can I say this, how to get myself out of those um, thoughts, and how to help myself, I should say. And I didn't want anybody to help me with that, because I felt like I wasn't going to be able to help myself later on along the line. But I was wrong, and I was young, and I didn't have much experience at all with any type of therapy or any type of help in that aspect. And once I did end up in therapy, it did help me a lot, and it was definitely a growing experience. And if you feel like you need therapy, therapy, or just simply even want to try it out, and I would definitely encourage anybody to do so. It's not as scary as it might seem, um, because I remember like the first time that I went for my first session, and I was just really, really scared, really nervous. Didn't know if I like could all the way like speak my mind. I didn't know like what the boundaries were, so to speak. But it's definitely a growing experience, and it helped me personally a lot. And just having somebody there who like could hear you out, even if it's like a random person, it's honestly actually easier than it sounds, and it's very comforting to know that it's there. So if you do need that type of help and that support, definitely reach out and let somebody know. But yeah, so as far as mental health, those are the things that I've kind of incorporated in my life up until this point. And yeah, it's not many, but I try to incorporate those things. And then for my physical health, I practice yoga. And before I had the class that I have now, I use these apps. So in case any of you like watching that like might not have the opportunity to take a yoga class, then if you have a phone, and I'm pretty sure it's available for both Android and iPhone, excuse me, there are certain apps that I have here. Aside from Headspace, which is the meditation app I was telling you guys about, there's the Keep Yoga app and the Daily Yoga app. Oh, and also another meditation app that I have on here is Calm, but I don't really use that one. I use like Headspace more. I don't know, I just like it more. So yeah, those are some yoga apps. Once again, it's the Keep Yoga and the Daily Yoga, in case you don't have the opportunity to take a yoga class. But if you do have the opportunity to take one, I definitely would encourage anybody to take it, because it's very like calming. And honestly, I've gained a lot. I could see like an increase in my flexibility. I could see an increase in my strength. They do also, like in my class, we do a lot of breathing exercises, which um, helps me feel more calm, definitely more calming. And like, since I'm taking it as a class, like during the semester, it's definitely helped me de-stress with all of the major classes that I'm taking right now. It's very stressful. School is very stressful, and shout out to all my school students. And yeah, if you're a school student, definitely take a yoga class or a meditation class, any of those classes that are available to you. It'll kind of help balance things out, like with all the stressful classes you have, and then just taking a yoga or meditation class. It's very good for your, not even just your physical health, but your mental health as well. Um, so yeah, do that. What else? That's as far like the only thing that I do as far as physical health that um the only thing I do that kind of keeps my physical health in check. Even though I feel like I should do more, I don't. Probably take like every now and then I'll go on a morning walk, which I just started to do, like, so I don't want to say I do it, but yeah, going on a morning walk, just walking around the complex and whatnot. Well, what else? So I talked about mental health, talked about physical health. Oh, so as far as my spiritual health, I do have the app. I have an app from I wouldn't say I'm a part of any religion. I do believe in a higher power, but I just don't believe in like there's I don't believe that there's a specific or right way to praise God. So I don't really believe in any religion is like a right religion. I believe in a higher power, and I believe in spirits, and I don't know, I believe in those things. I just don't feel like there's one way to believe in something, you know. I just don't think that way. But that's just my belief. And as far as my spiritual health goes, I have an app from the, I guess, the religion that I grew up in. Well, I kind of had like an experience with two religions. So when I was younger, I grew up Catholic up until I was like 10 or 11. And then my family converted to Christianity, more specifically Jehovah's Witness. So I have the Jehovah's Witness app, and the way that I incorporate spirituality, I guess, into my life is I have the app, and so with their app, they have like a daily text. So, what that means is kind of like they have a daily a daily scripture that they examine, basically. And so I read through the daily text, and they also have a lot of different publications on their app. So um, I'll go through there if I'm struggling with certain topics, like, I don't know, they have topics for, I mean, publications for like uh, every topic. So if I'm struggling with something, like, okay, how can I be more happier, or where does happiness come from, I'll just search through that app as well, aside from doing like other things to keep me keep me happy, I guess, as an example. um so yeah, that's just one way that I practice, like, keep my spiritual health in check. I also have like actual physical copies of like publications from them. And even though, like I said, I don't practice like any specific religious way, I do believe in a higher power, and I do study these like publications. I just don't practice these things, if that makes sense. So, like, let me explain myself, because that sounded weird. So, like, I'll read the publications. So for when I said the example of, like, if I was struggling in something, like, okay, where does happiness come from? And I pull up a publication and it tells me, okay, like, you can be grateful about your family. Just a generalized answer, I guess is what I'm saying. I would take the lessons I get from the publications that I read, like, on this app, and incorporate that into my life. So I don't want to say that I don't practice anything, or where, because I don't think that's like the right way to say it, but I just don't want to say that am a part of any religion when I don't practice what they believe in. You know, I take lessons from their publications, and I take what I feel like are ways of guiding me through certain things that I'm struggling in. But I don't practice like what they believe in, so to speak, because there's so much more to the religion than just like finding answers to your questions. But that's just one way I kind of keep my spiritual health in check. Just um, going back to what I was saying, just reading the daily text and pulling the lessons from it, as well as if I'm struggling with anything, like I said, the example that I had was like, if I was struggling on how I could retain more happiness, I would just research, like, look up the word happiness, and like publications will come up on how I can keep myself happy, or like what things I can be grateful for, that can just I guess tips, or ways that could keep me happy, and they'll have publications about it. So I long story short, I just trying to incorporate that into my life, and that's kind of like the spiritual health. Like that's how I keep myself spiritually going. Because like I said, I don't think there's like a right way to believe in God. I don't think there's a right, like there's only one religion. I don't think, you know, I feel like as long as you believe in a higher power and um, you do the right things, which is a very vague term, but if you're a good person, you do the right things. I mean, we all know right from wrong. I feel like we should be okay. So yeah, that's just one way I kind of incorporate the spirituality aspect into my life. Um, as well as I think also correcting myself on a day-to-day basis. You know, like if I'm struggling with some thoughts or struggling with emotions and trying to fight off emotions and struggling with like how I should react to things. I think more than anything is struggling with how I should react to things. Like I always go back to like a spiritual aspect, like a spiritual look, like okay, like who do I want to be? Like how, you know, how should I act? How should I be? Like, you know, and the Bible talks about these things, and it doesn't even have to be this specific Bible. I'm just saying generally, like the Bible talks about these things. The Bible talks about how you should be kind and generous, and so it kind of gives me a how should I say it? Like a model, you know, like a yeah, I think that's the only word I kind of know to describe it. Like a set way of doing things, like how I should be doing things. Yeah, like a model, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry if I'm bad at words, you guys. Like, I get nervous recording, but yeah. So I think that's the only thing I kind of do as far as spiritual health. Oh, I also I before I even finish off, I also read certain books. So, like I've read a couple books by the Dalai Lama, and excuse me if I'm not pronouncing that name right, but he has very good books on just practicing. What is it? Like I believe one of them was just on virtues, just like having good virtues, like what some good virtues are to have. That's another type of spiritual health, I think, because he's a very religious icon. And yeah, so I read a few books about him and how he, well, his stories, I guess, and how he kept his virtues throughout his testimonies and whatnot. And if you haven't read his books, definitely read his books, you guys. His books were pretty incredible, and his stories are incredible. His life was incredible, and I think there's a lot of lessons that people can learn from it. And yeah, so those are just some ways that I try and incorporate all those three things on a day-to-day basis. And I hope it made sense, and I hope I wasn't rambling about stuff for too long, and if I was, I apologize. I'm not the best with words when I'm recording, but I hope it helps you guys out in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, so let me know if you guys have any suggestions, anything you want to see. I kind of stopped doing like music reaction videos because it got copyrighted, but anything else, like I'm all for it. So, like, comment, subscribe, you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.